Wing Commander Tim Owen. I've been in the Air Force for 31 years now. First 18 years as a regular, and then the next 13 years as a full-time reservist. Yeah, well, the first 18 years was flying backseat tornadoes, and then the last 13 years have been doing kind of civil emergencies and aircraft crashes and stuff. So there's been a range of kind of highlights, from having mid-air collisions myself to going to lots of operational sorties to then dealing with disasters in the UK. When you start behaving differently as an individual and people start to say you're behaving differently, people that have known you for a long time, that's the time when you should look at yourself and saying, is the world changing or is it me? And if everything else is static in your life and you're the person that's making the waves, then you should go, hang on a minute, it might be me that's wrong, and then at that point seek help. So I look back, I realised I was drinking a little bit too much in the bar every night and living away from home during the week. And I just looked back at myself and said, what's changed? And the only thing that changed was me. It wasn't my family, it wasn't the service, it was me that had changed because of the situations I've been in. That was the point I decided to do something about it. So my daughter, that was the third big challenge. So we've had two challenges in my professional career. My daughter, Em, in 2020, we'd grown up, well, she'd grown up, she had a late diagnosis of autism. And then in March last year, so March 2020, the world started to fall apart in her eyes. I was still working, I was still doing my job with the RAF absolutely fine, and her little brain couldn't cope with the fact lockdown was coming. She was working in a pub, the pub was going to close down, she couldn't go to the gym, she wanted to go to the gym, that's part of her release for her kind of high functioning autism, and she couldn't drive a car because in our family we'd started to develop coughing, and we had to go into lockdown the week before the Prime Minister announced lockdown. And on the Wednesday of that week, she decided enough was enough and tried to kill herself. And she died 5 days later in hospital, which was the worst 5 days of our lives. And it sent us on a trajectory that we weren't expecting, we weren't planning for. We thought we'd got kind of not the perfect family, but we thought we were going in the right direction. And I just fell. We all just fell as a family. You know, you just lost your daughter, and there was so much stuff going on at that time around the country. From the point of, fortunately, Emily was able to donate some organs, so that was a tiny prick of light in the whole the episode we were going through. But we were just falling, absolutely falling. The biggest thing you can do as an individual is realise that you're struggling, or realise that a friend's struggling, and start to signpost them, start to point them for that help. And what I've found, open and supportive conversations is the best way to go ahead. Just being open and saying, you're struggling, I can't deal with this on my own. For whatever reason, it might be a personal problem, or it might be a work problem. That's the best way of dealing with it. Also, if you've got close mates, you can ask them. You know, that open and honest conversation is so important. And you know, by asking your friend, asking a colleague, am I doing something wrong here? And you know, please be honest with me. That's where you start to identify where, you know, maybe if it's you or whether it's the system, and if it's you, that gives you the opportunity to do something about it. You know, reach out for help, because the last thing you want to do is be that person that knew your friend, your colleague was suffering, was having the struggles, and not have done anything about it. And heaven forbid that person does something like takes their own life, and you could have maybe stopped them. So it's that intervening early. That's what I would recommend. Seek help. You know, don't be ashamed. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And the service now is so much more supportive than it was. So seek help. It's much better that you're there at the end, you know, than do like my daughter did. You know, she couldn't cope and she took her own life, and we're having to live with that now forever. So please don't do, you know, seek help. So one of the key drivers that helped me get through when I was in, you know, absolute despair was I'd seen Admiral William Raven, who's a US Navy SEAL, give us very empowering speech. And his key takeaway, my key takeaway from his speech, was he said, make your bed every morning, because then you feel like you've achieved something. So in the aftermath of Emma's death, where we were feeling horrendous and I was feeling horrendous, that came back to me. And so every day I made sure after I got up, and I did get up, I made my bed every morning. And that little step every day just meant at the end of the day, you could always say you've done something positive. Whatever else happened during the day, you'd done something positive. So that really stuck with me. Make your bed every day, and then you've done something positive.